Okay, good afternoon again, users. In this tutorial, we would move one step further. Our previous tutorial was based on user management. In this tutorial, we are going to speak about contacts. So again, we go to our left side panel. Under user management, we would see contacts. If we click on the drop down arrow, we would see four options there: suppliers or vendors, customers. This is the person's purchasing from our business. We see customer groups and import contacts. So the first option, suppliers. This is where we can create a supplier. So it's similar to creating a user. So a user meaning an employee, anyone that navigates the back end of your application or runs your business. A supplier, someone that you are purchasing from. Now on the top of the screen, we can see filters. So we can filter these suppliers by purchase due. These are the purchases we that we are yet to complete. Purchase return. These are the purchases that we return. Advance balance. For some reason we pay a lump sum of money to our suppliers, so we can see the balance that we have with these suppliers, and opening balance as well. We can see the filter assigned to either the purchasing officer or Mr. Trent Lohe, who is probably the owner, and we can see status, if these suppliers are active or inactive. And these are our filters to the top. To the bottom, you would see all the suppliers that we currently have on our system, and we can show as many as all 1,000 or minimum 25. To the right of that, we can export this list or we can print it. The column visibility is basically which column it navigates, which columns we want to see and which columns we don't want to see. And we can export it in PDF. We can search for a particular supplier, or we can simply add a new supplier. So on our new supplier, that supplier can either be an individual or a business. So for the individual, you would see first name, last name, etc. And on the business, we would see the business name. We can generate our own supplier ID, or it can be left blank and the system would automatically and sequentially generate a number for our supplier. So if we are doing a business and we name this business test business, all the fields that you're seeing an asterisk, those are mandatory fields. So we add a cell phone, a phone number. All of these are optional. So we can say test@gmail.com. And if we click on more info, then there's more info that we can actually input based on this particular supplier. We can input tax number. We can say, okay, we gave them $10,000 as an opening balance. Our payment terms for our supplier is, let's say, months. We can say 3 months or 90 days. We can say days. We can say 90 days. So that is how long our supplier gives us to actually pay for the item. So we have some line of credit here. So we can say the street, and we can fill out the other information for that. These are custom fields if we would like to enter any additional information. And the shipping address is Test Street as well. And we can put a contact person for this. We can put up to 3 contact persons for this particular supplier. Alright, and then we hit save. Sorry, let me see. Right, so the drop down was open, so that is why, you know, they were saying that we were missing these fields. Right, so now I can filter by any supplier that has an opening balance. I can click on advanced balance and we wouldn't see anything. I can click on purchase return because we don't have any purchase returns, and purchase due. So that is suppliers. So we move to customers. So customers, just as suppliers, we have our filter. We have our listing of customers in the same format as suppliers, and we can add customers. Our customers can either be a business or an individual, just as we did with the supplier. So if we hit more information, we would see the same thing, tax information, and we would see contact persons. So it's basically the same form that we just filled when we were doing the supplier. Now we have something called customer groups. So let's go to customer groups. So a customer group is a group of customers that you would like to classify. So for instance, in a business, we can have these walking customers that buy retail stuff from us, and we can have wholesale customers, so that we would like to give a special price. Maybe we would give them this group of wholesale customers, maybe we would give them a 10% off. Maybe we have directors in our company that we would like to give 50% off. So we place all the directors as customers, and we place them in a specific group. So we would say wholesale, we would give them a percentage or a selling group, something you call a selling group, or we can give them a percentage off. So if we click selling group, then we would have to have a selling group attached to it. If we click percentage, then we can put, okay, we're giving these wholesalers 25% off. And that is simply it. So if we go to customers and we say what customer group we would like, we say this customer, we would like to place this customer in our wholesale group. So this customer, anything this customer is purchasing, once that item is tagged to this selling group, then that customer would get that item at a special price. So that is how we do special pricing within the application. Last but not least, on this list we have import contacts. And import contacts is self-explanatory. So we have a template where we can download, save, and we can open. So on this template we have the regular items: email, mobile, alternate, land, city, state, country, address to, zip code, date of birth, and then we have some custom fields. So if we have a bunch of customers, we can fill out this sheet with these customer names, and then we can import. We can select and import that sheet. We can import this sheet and then click on submit. I may get an error here. Okay, it didn't give me an error, but of course nothing will enter into the system because we do not have any information on that particular sheet that I imported. And that is this lecture on contacts. So today we covered suppliers, customers, customer groups, and importing contacts. In our next tutorial, we will touch on the product field, which involves all of these subheadings on the left panel. Thank you very much for tuning in, and see you in our next tutorial.